natural. I know you look at it and you say, I don't see any change in color at all. But you do. If you look under an art lamp, you'll see it. You'll see that it is very, the shade is very close together. But yet they have an amazing color. It's red, white, and blue, guys, but really red, white, and blue. In fact, we had somebody use it here who was, their grandson was a sports nut. So we used that red, white, and blue, and it just changed. So that's, an example of an overdye. There are lots of them. Water Lilies, also by Karen Collection. That one is silk. Let's see. We also have Threadworks, which is a marvelous line that we all love here. That is also an overdyed line, whether it be in a floss, in a 6-ply floss, or whether it be in a size 5 pearl or a size 3 pearl, which is heavier. Weeks Dye Works makes a great overdye. They all have different colors. And one of my new favorites, which is Crescent Colors. For those of you who are not familiar with Crescent Colors, you got to see it. The colors are scrumptious. We have someone who is working on a chuppah in our store, and they're shading flowers, but instead of changing colors, every 2 threads, they're using these overdyed threads, and they're just getting beautiful flowers with these colors. So second question about overdyes. So there are lots and lots of overdyes, and there are many more than we've just listed, but there are lots out there. The other thing people have asked is, how do they get the non-streaky look? Because they're basket weaving with it, and in their sky, it looks like these long streaks. Well, let's see. When you basket weave in an overdye, especially if you use the thread continuously, the bad news is, yes, you are going to get those long streaks, okay, those long diagonal streaks. So you got to break your thread up. Whether you decide to stitch across as opposed to stitching on the diagonal in that area where you'll get more of a cloud effect, especially if you're using a blue, or perhaps you skip spaces and then you go back and you fill in with another color in those or with part of your threads. The other thing that many people do is they take out one length of their overdye, and then they'll cut it. So they won't use the entire thing. They'll use a lighter part in one section, and they'll use a darker part in another section. And that's another way to use an overdye that some people have asked about. Yes, it is okay to only use the purple part of the string, I promise. The needlepoint police will not come to your house. It's okay. But that's another way, especially with some of these really wild colors. And you say, I loved every color in there except the pink. So cut out the pink. Don't use the pink. Save the pink for another project. You know what? That's why we have lots and lots of scissors in our bag. We can do that. So that's, fun with overdyes, as we say. Next question about overdyes. God, you people have a lot of questions about overdyes. Okay, next question. Most commonly asked question about overdyes. Alex, on the board 4. Can you use too many overdyes in a piece? Well, that's a loaded question. So, can you use too many? My feeling is you can't use too many as long as they all work together. If they fight each other, that's a whole other ball of wax. I did a piece for Threadworks for the January show that maybe we'll kind of put up in next week's newsletter if I can find a picture of it. It's a kit that is available through Threadworks. It is a lake scene, okay? The entire piece uses overdyed threads, all right? It uses, it uses 10 of the 6-stranded floss overdyes from Threadworks and 5 of the number 8 metallic overdyed braid. Okay? Now, yes, this is available for kit. I hear everybody going, oh my God, how much thread does this piece use? It's little. It's 6 by 6, and yes, we will sell it as a kit. We'll cut the thread for you. But that was used entirely in overdyes. As long as they're not all wild colors, I think it does work. You know, the mountains are darker. They're in overdyed, but they're very subtle. The sky has more change to it than the water. The water also has some shimmer from that number 8 braid. So I think that as long as you balance the really wild overdyes with the more subtle ones, I think you're okay. I don't think your piece looks like a mishmash. So I think, you know, to answer the question from that person's email, and I will not mention your name because I did not ask your permission before the show, that, you know, yes, yes, you can have too many overdyes, but it is okay to use all overdyes in your piece. Okay. Next question, and maybe we won't talk about overdyes now, as I think we have beaten that subject to death. Next question is, how many threads do you have in your shop? Okay, that is a tough question. I was looking, and I know, you know, my husband's there yelling, you know, open, quicken, how many threads do you have? I believe we have, because we moved in a couple of different lines and we moved out a couple of different lines. I think we're somewhere between 40 and 45 lines of thread at this point. So we probably have whatever you need. And yes, they are starting to come on our website. It has been a long process getting everything up on the web. So I know that that is coming. I believe ThreadWorks might be up already. ThreadWorks, and I don't know what the other one was, but there is a second one that I know is coming up right away. So you'll be able to buy Planet Earth, of course. Planet Earth will be up. So Planet Earth and ThreadWorks, I think, are the first ones that are going up on the site. And then we'll be able to get everything else up. So that's how many threads we have in our store. Do not ask me how many canvases, because I don't know. So just giving you a heads up, guys. Don't ask me questions I can't answer. So I think that is all the time we have for our question and answer session today. But it was some fun. And you know what? I was thinking, what we can do is this. Maybe, if you guys want, we will email me questions. And if you want, every now and then, like now when we don't have a guest, we'll sort of do a question and answer, and maybe we'll plan it a little bit more in advance. But before we run out of time, we need to talk about last week's contest. Last week we spoke with Libby Sturdy. And as everybody knows, her website is www.justlibbydesigns.com. And she has wonderful things. Everybody's going, you fixed the contest this week. I didn't. I promise I closed my eyes and I just picked a number. And the winner of Libby's contest was Joanne Edwards from Benton, Arkansas. Congratulations, Joanne. You will be getting a canvas from Libby Sturdy. And this week's contest. You will be getting an original gun stitching design that just came back from China from being painted. So I don't know which one, but you will be getting a fabulous gun stitching design. You can enter the contest by sending the magic word, which will be free for all. I guess that's good because today was kind of a free for all. FREE for FOR all ALL. Send that to contest@gonstitching.net. You need to put that in to be entered into the contest. We want to thank everybody for kind of sticking around with me today. Next week, I promise, we will have a guest. We will be speaking to Weeks Dye Works. We will be back next Monday. And until then, when they ask where you've been, tell them you've gone stitching.